Yo, just gonna do a rotating tutorial for you guys. Just opened up a new project. Let me just build something here. So let's say you have a box and you'd like to rotate it maybe 45 degrees or so. So rotating, in order to rotate, you're gonna have to choose a view side, if that makes sense. So when you select your points, you get your green point. If you hold Control, you have some options here. You have the arrows, and you have rotate and scale. You also have it down here to your left. You have rotate, scale. What I like to do sometimes is you can just left click and drag this, and it lets you rotate. So I can rotate this box maybe a 45 degrees somewhat. It's not super accurate, but then you come back in here, and now it's rotated roughly 45 degrees. Or you can do a Control right click, and it asks what degrees you want to rotate anti-clockwise around that green point. So if I want to do exactly 90 degrees, it does that. It rotates at 90. Say if I click this rotate down here, it's the same idea. If I do 45, it does a 45 about this green point. So you can picture a rotation around that, like that's your center. So now if I selected all these and went from this point over here and I rotated it 45, it rotates around this up. So if I rotate this 90, it's rotating around this point, if that makes sense. If you want to rotate a sub-object, is a lot easier. So if I'm in the sub-object and I go some new points, we just make a box. Real quick. And I want to rotate this box, you can also just rotate here the actual sub-object itself. So if I rotate it this way, rotate about my, I guess I'll say it's my x-axis, I can rotate about my z and my y, which is cool. So you can get kind of these funky rotations and stuff. Makes it really easy to visualize. You can kind of just go step by step, or if you hold Control, you get the small increments. But then if you want to merge this back into your main object, when you merge back into main, it deletes all those rotations since your main object can't have any, it doesn't have that rotation. So that's only a visual rotation. If you keep it in a sub-object, that will show in game and you're good. But if you try to bring it back into your main, you lose all that rotation. So it's just a heads up. But you can do the same thing in your main if you want to do. You gotta kind of use your side views and everything. So if I go my right view and I rotate it this way a bit, then it's rotated down. And if I go my front view now and I want it to rotate about this way a bit as well, you can see now I got this kind of lopsided. It's rotated down to the front and it's rotated over to the left, kind of off to the side. So you can do all the views as long as you have a top view, because your top view is a rotation looking down. Rotates about this way. So that's basically it. There's multiple ways to rotate. Kind of the main thing is just making sure, since if I go into my points or my triangles and everything, I don't have that rotate option until, even if I select everything, there isn't a rotate option yet. I can scale and flip and everything, but I can't rotate. You have to go into a view and then you get those options. You also get scale too, which is cool. You can scale just by dragging, or you should be able to scale by width and technically height. This just keeps everything in order. If you right click it, it's by a certain amount from that green point again. So it will scale based around that green point. So we say, times 2, it's double in size now. And also I stretched it all weird. What you can also do is you can do a let's do a new point and say create a circle. So if I do, let's see, let's do 8. We'll just say it's small. Now you have this point in the middle. So I do this a lot actually, where I'll make a circle when I'm trying to design something, if I'm doing bars or I'm making something, and I, put in whatever measurement you want for meters, like in width, for diameter. And right now, say I was thinking this was too small, like this is way too small. So I don't have to reset, I don't have to remake my circle again. I can just hold control. And if you go from this middle dot, and it shouldn't really matter too much, but I like this middle dot because it keeps everything centered. See how all the other points are scaling around that center dot. So I just zoom out, and if I'm making something, I'll just scale it to be the right circle size that I need, and then makes it easy, right? Then you just do exactly what you did. As long as when you made the circle, if you keep all your points and then hold control and then also get the middle, it's really easy to go extrude it because you just exclude this point. So you just get this red line here, you get your whole circle, and it makes it really easy now to extrude that and make a cylinder of whatever. It helps making stuff really fast when you're trying to make a really high detailed cylinder. You don't have to sit there making all your points. It's easy to do it. And you make another one, and then I like to, if you fuse the green, then you got your top, because that's the center point. All of them go into one, and you can, it made 2 there, sorry. There you go. So now you only have, oh, it's being very weird. Odd. There you go. So now you have your point there that you can make a exhaust. This usually I make exhaust pipes, or if you're making tubes. If you're making tubes, what you can do is I like to do this. And so say we want a roll bar of some kind, I'll go into my view, my forward view, and when you want to get that curve, if you're bending pipe, you just hold control, and I'll just rotate it slightly and move it over. And then I go extrude, same thing, and I can do another bit, and then I rotate it more, and then I extrude it again, and I rotate it more, as you can see, right? I think I'll do one more, and I'll try to get it relatively straight here for this last one. And see, now you got a smoother curve. And now if I move all this over, kind of get it somewhat close to center, and I make these my center points, so they're along the center. Take my triangles, grab all those in your mirror, and now you have a, like a roll bar for an open wheeler or like a roadster, just so the driver's head doesn't get crushed in when you flip over. Obviously a little too big, so the scale of that's probably not that great, so I'd probably scale it down, make it really tiny. But yeah, just useful tips. Makes modeling this stuff super easy. It's really quick and easy, just knowing all this stuff. So yeah, that's how to rotate scale.